Look Up is a new comedy slash disaster movie that is now streaming on Netflix, and it is written and directed by Adam McKay. You might know Adam McKay from movies like The Big Short or from Vice, and the cast for this movie is absolutely crazy. Leonardo Dicaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Cate Blanchett, Tyler Perry, Timothy Chalamet, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Mark Rylance, Chris Evans, the list goes on and on and on and on. Even Ariana Grande and Kid Cudi show up in this movie. I have no idea why they're in this movie, but they do show up. The story here is that there are two astronomers played by Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence who discover a new comet. And not only do they discover a new comet, they discover that this new comet is on a trajected path towards Earth. It's on a collision course with Earth, and it's an extinction level event. Like, as in, when this thing hits the Earth, everything on life is going to be destroyed. They bring this information to the president, and the president is not really willing to listen to them, like, at all. So there really is about how these astronomers try to get their message out either through the media, social media, however means, and all the while there's a gigantic asteroid coming towards Earth, and it's about how do the people survive this? Are they willing to listen to the idea that there is an asteroid coming towards Earth? You know, it's one of those type of movies. I will say that with Adam McKay, I am very hot and cold on his filmography as of right now. I'm as big a Kid Cudi fan as you're gonna find, and I'm just like, they wouldn't put Kid Cudi in a bad movie, right? No. I mean, the movie's not bad per se. There are good things about it. It's not a horribly directed film. I will argue that it's one of Adam McKay's weaker directed films that he's ever made, but in terms of the overall direction, it could have been worse. It's a decent enough looking movie visually, I guess, and it's paced reasonably well. I mean, overall. Strength of this movie lies in the performances. Everyone here is so great, and they came into the movie great, and this movie also gets to showcase how great they are. Leonardo DiCaprio is really great in this movie. Jennifer Lawrence, who I haven't seen in a movie in forever, she was amazing in this movie. Cate Blanchett and Tyler Perry are having so much fun in this movie, it doesn't even matter if they're great. They're great because they're really fun whenever they're on screen. Timothy Chalamet shows up in this movie, and at first I wasn't even sure if he was aware that he was being filmed, but then I don't know, he did kind of add something to the last 20 minutes of the movie, so there is that. Like, overall, this is an incredibly well-acted movie. You're not gonna find a single performance that feels out of place or feels like it doesn't belong. Okay, well, if I'm being honest, Ariana Grande, acting is not her strength. And Kid Cudi said lines. That's as far as I'm gonna go, as far as slandering him. No, okay, Kid Cudi wasn't that good either, but come on, you wouldn't expect them to be. This movie does have a very satirical look at society as a whole and the modern day human and how we go through life nowadays on social media, politically, the polarization and the divisiveness that our world has become. This movie definitely takes a satirical look at all of that and how people would respond to an extinction level event coming to Earth and what would the responses be on either side of the aisle. If there's one thing you could say about Adam McKay, is that he pretty much takes aim at everybody with this movie. It doesn't really matter if you're a news show host, or it doesn't really matter. Like, Adam McKay is going to take some kind of swipe at you in this movie, and so he's at least equal opportunity with it, and I do appreciate him for that. Unfortunately, if you couldn't pick up the vibe already, I was not a really big fan of this movie. In fact, I was really disappointed. Okay, putting aside Kid Cudi, I still love you, Cudi. Your performance doesn't matter in the movie. When it comes to the actual film, there's just so many bad decisions that were made here. Start off with some of the editing. The editing in this film actually really bothered me. I'm not really sure why Adam McKay and his film editors decided to go with this technique, but it gave me nausea throughout the film, and it didn't really convey the atmosphere that I think McKay and his people were going for. Some really quick, flashy editing that just really bothered me, and it messed with me, and I'm just like, everything else in the film is shot really well. Why do you have to cut and do all of that extra stuff in certain scenes? It was just a weird decision for me, and I didn't really go with it. The biggest crime that this movie has is that it's a comedy that's really not that funny. Like, I laughed maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the entire runtime. For me, a lot of the jokes, a lot of the humor, a lot of the way that it was written in this movie, it just fell flat for me. Humor is subjective, and other people are gonna think the movie's absolutely hilarious, and I get that. But for me, I feel like there's a lot funnier ways that you could depict the satire that you're doing in this movie, and I don't think this was the way to do it. In a 2.5 hour movie, it's supposed to be a comedy, and I'm just kind of sitting there and I'm going, oh. If the movie was funny, I probably would have forgiven its biggest sin, which is that all of the satire that this movie throws at the screen, all of the ways it tries to make fun of the world as it is today, doesn't really have anything interesting to say about any of these concepts and any of these things that it says in the movie. It's not really interested in exploring it further. It's not really interested in exploring the why of it. It kind of just puts it all out there, and it's kind of exhausting because we already see this shit every single day on social media and on TV and in life in general. So it's kind of like, what are we saying here? And if the goal is to say nothing and it's just to put it out there, then this is where I feel like the movie should have been funnier, because at least then I could have been entertained while listening to this satire. But instead, it's satirical without a point, without a purpose, without meaning. Don't Look Up is a movie that has good ideas. It's a movie that has a talented cast, but it decides to do absolutely nothing with it. And I feel like almost everybody was wasted on this movie. Not a bad movie, but also kind of a waste of time. I'm gonna leave this one in Smallville. It's more of a guilty pleasure type of movie. Those are my thoughts on Don't Look Up. Tell me, have you seen it? What did you think about it? And tell me, of this group in this movie, what's your favorite actor or actress from this ensemble? Give me that in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show. And if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.